What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the REVIVECAST. So this episode, it's gonna be a pretty quick one. I'm just gonna give you some tips and a little bit of guidance on traveling and eating. And I know this time of year, a lot of you are just constantly on the go, whether it's going out shopping or going to social gatherings, family gatherings, parties, whatever. And just, things are typically just really hectic this time of year. That being the case, I thought I'd kind of like intertwine a couple things here. So eating while you're traveling, and you can also obviously integrate that into this time of year where things are a lot more crazy with people. Because a lot of times when, we're dealing with clients or just someone trying to be healthy and stay on plan most of the time, consistency and adherence is the biggest thing, right? Now, we also got to throw into the mix convenience, right? Because sometimes, even with myself, you can prep things as much as you want to prep them and pre-plan things. Things still happen. We're not always going to have a meal there waiting for us to eat in Tupperware or whatever, and that's okay. Unless you're like a competitor in a contest prep, it's fine outside of that scenario to make do with what you have. But you also have to have some kind of base thought process on what to do in those situations, how to order food, what to order to make those healthy, mindful choices and stay relatively on plan, right? And it's never going to be perfect, obviously. It's an estimation. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that because we're looking at sustainability long-term, adherence long-term, and the convenience really, really helps with that. I mean, I have a lot of clients, all from my high-profile clients to CEOs, even to the moms out there who are just running the kids everywhere on the go and just don't have time to actually sit down, cook a meal, and eat it all the time. So let's kind of get into what I like to do and when I help clients kind of figure out when they don't have that prepped meal there to eat. So number one is, making the right choices when you're going to whatever restaurant. Because honestly, nowadays, most restaurants have an option on the menu that is a healthier choice. Now, the easiest way to look at this is anything that's pretty much grilled or baked is going to be your best option, especially when it comes to your protein sources. Now, obviously, things like chicken, right? So chicken breast, obviously, instead of chicken thigh, if you're going for a leaner protein source. Not that there's anything wrong with the chicken thigh. You just obviously got to account for it. That's definitely going to have more fat in it. And also take into account with most restaurants, how they cook their food, you don't have any control over. So are there probably added fats in most of the food you get at a restaurant? Probably. And then again, that's okay. So that's why typically when you're choosing like the protein source of your meal at any restaurant, I typically tell people to go for the lean cuts, being chicken breast, a turkey breast, lean cuts of steak. Like sirloin is typically going to be your leanest option, and then filet mignon is going to be the next option there. So out of your protein sources, those are the easiest. Now, the other option, which is really good, is obviously sushi, if you like sushi, because that's probably the easiest thing to track. That's going to be pretty accurate. So from a protein source, when you're eating sushi, you look at sashimi, which is just the fish itself, right? Typically, and again, this is approximation, one slice of most of the sashimi, now I'm talking salmon, tuna, shrimp, and crab, your leanest sources, are going to be roughly about 5 grams of protein per slice. And obviously no carbs and fat. You're talking like the salmon maybe have 1 gram of fat, 1 to 2 at most. So it's very easy to estimate. And then the next part, right, is like, okay, veggies. Veggies are pretty easy, and it's against kind of like, how is it being prepared? Is it steamed? Is it, sauteed? Is it deep fried? Because they do that too. Veggies, I would say the option if you're in a sit-down restaurant is just to tell them not to cook with oils or put extra butter on it. Because typically when they cook stuff, they'll actually put extra sauces and butters and stuff on it after they're done cooking it. So when you're ordering your lean proteins, your veggies and stuff, just say, don't add any butter, don't add any oil. And again, across the board, it's like when you order, be, precise with what you order, and it's okay to, tell them to make those little substitutions or changes to how they're prepared. And most people are fine with doing that. So with vegetables, try to get the ones that are steamed. If that's not the case, baked, obviously, if it's like a potato, easy to do. And obviously you have your salads out there. If you're getting a salad, get something where you're getting the dressing on the side. Try to use a lighter dressing and don't dump it on there. Just, gradually put enough on there for flavoring and just don't go overboard on it. Okay. The next step, let's go for like a carb. When I'm talking about carbs, I'm talking about the starchy, kind of grainy carbs. I just talked about a potato, but then you're looking at rice. One of my favorite options is Chipotle. If you follow me, I eat Chipotle. Now the trick with Chipotle is, and I've posted this, is ask for the rice that's unseasoned, because they have rice that they've cooked in the back. They haven't put extra oils on and extra seasoning on, which is going to lower the fat content in that rice. And also just tell them to put a moderate amount of rice on there, not the entire scoop. I mean, they're putting a lot of rice on there in typical bowls and even in the burritos. But the bowls are going to be much easier to control when you're ordering Chipotle and not having the flour tortilla with it, because that's adding a lot more fat and carbs. And again, we want moderation here. We want to have balance and healthy. So honestly, with Chipotle, the steak is less calories than the chicken. Not that you can't have the chicken, just be mindful of that. And so I'll typically do half and half chicken, half steak. The rice, you just say, I want rice from the back that's unseasoned. They'll put that on, just a little bit of that. Beans are absolutely fine. The black beans, pinto beans, it's going to get a good amount of fiber, and it's not as calorically dense. And then lettuce on top, and then you're good. Now, if you want a little bit of extra fat, the avocado or the guacamole, that's great too. Obviously, don't get the chips, the sour cream, the cheeses, all that stuff. The sauces are fine as well. So it's just being mindful, because, literally, if you're following somebody that's going to Chipotle, most of the time, and I'm not judging anybody for this, but if you're trying to stay healthy, it's not the best way to do it. The burritos are the size of my head, and they're just, the toppings are like 30 toppings on the top of these things. And you're talking 2,000 calories in one burrito. That's just insane to me, unless it's like a free meal and you're not counting it. Have at it. Enjoy it. I've done that. But I'm talking about being mindful and trying to stay as healthy as possible, with on-the-go eating. So those are my favorite options from Chipotle. Starbucks is another easy option. Starbucks, there's only really a couple options that you're going to get there. One is going to be the egg white turkey bacon sandwich. The other one's going to be the egg white spinach feta wrap. And that's going to be a good option there. And you can get the macros for this stuff. Like I have one here, I have this stuff that we give to our clients on the go, just like the egg white sandwich has, the egg white turkey bacon sandwich has per sandwich 8 grams of fat, 30 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of protein per sandwich. That's 290 calories, right? So it's easy to, do these things like Chick-fil-A, right? That's another one you can get good food at. The grilled chicken sandwich with no sauces or anything on it is going to be around 10 grams of fat, 40 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein. The grilled chicken nuggets, the 8 count of grilled chicken nuggets is going to be 3 grams of fat, pretty much no carbs, 25 grams of protein. And you can get a lot of this information online, and it's pretty easy, right? We make a PDF for all of our clients that has this on-the-go menu, and we have all the macros breaking down for them to see. So they have these options, right, to get things like Chipotle. I want to keep my carbs lower. Okay, well then just get the chicken or the steak, get beans, salsa, and lettuce. There you go. You're like dropping the carbs pretty much in half, but it's still a fairly filling meal. And I touched on the sushi. Now when it comes to sushi, the sashimi obviously is a cakewalk to kind of manage and estimate. But like nigiri is, the fish over the rice. And again, it's a little bit different for each restaurant. This is an average, obviously. I've had some that gives me freaking massive pieces and some that are smaller. For nigiri, like one piece of nigiri, so that's one piece of fish over a piece of rice or a little scoop of rice. that's going to be roughly 2 grams of fat, around 8 to 10 grams of carbs, and around 5 grams of protein per piece of nigiri. Okay. This is stuff I've just over time researching, getting all the nutritional information from all these different restaurants. And honestly, sometimes I've gotten these foods, taken them home, weighed them out myself to see what the kind of average is. And that's, stuff I've done over the last few decades. And people are always like, well, about the rolls, like the sushi rolls? Those are obviously a little bit harder to estimate. But in general, if you're getting something like just a basic tuna roll or a basic salmon roll, you're looking at about 5 grams of fat. Now I'm talking about the entire roll, which is usually about 5 pieces. You're talking about 5 grams of fat, around 30-ish grams of carbs, and around 15 grams of protein, right? So you can make all kinds of healthy options when you go out to eat. It's just being very, very mindful of the choices that you're making, because this is very easy to like, oh, I want fries and the burger. Like, of course, everybody wants that. But that kind of split-second thinking, like, okay, what can I order here that's going to actually keep me working towards my goal, or just keep me a little bit healthier, right? And then at the end of the day, like if you made that snap decision of ordering a burger and a fry, did it destroy everything that you've worked for? Of course not. If you do that every single time that you go out to eat and it's on the go, probably going to catch up with you. So ordering those other options, they still are tasty. They're still going to do what they need to do from a satiety standpoint. It's going to help, and I will give you kind of I want to say tips for eating out eating out, ordering out. Always, like I said, always ask for no added or extra oils cooking on your meat. So if you're getting a steak and you're eating out, just say, I want the steak. Just grill my steak. Don't put butter, oil on it. And again, you're going to estimate these portion sizes because they're never exact. If you're ordering the salad, ask for dressing on the side. You order grilled chicken, grilled or baked fish, the sirloin, the filet, obviously no oil, no butter. Ask for all sauces to be placed on the side. And if you want to dip them a little bit to give a little bit of flavor, that's fine, but at least you're controlling that. Eyeballing the portions, a serving of protein is going to be roughly about the size of the palm of your hand. It's going to be roughly 5 ounces, 4 ounces. Choose a balanced, colorful plate. Like I would always opt to get a little bit more protein first, then add lots of veggies, and then the last part, getting some maybe some starchy carbs on there or something. But it's also okay to just order a salad and get a lot of protein put on there. I typically get a salad. I'll have some fruit on there, double-sized protein servings, and then dressing on the side. Easy option, and that's actually pretty filling for myself. For breakfast options, obviously, it's always ordering the egg whites, and understand, though, the egg whites are not completely fat-free because of the way they prepare them, and that's okay. But again, it's going to be better than ordering whole eggs, because now you're adding not only the fat that's in the whole eggs, which are good for you, but then the oils and stuff they're cooking them in. So you got to take that kind of stuff into account, right? It's easy stuff. And portion control. You get a good size plate or meal that you're ordering. Like, don't order 3 chicken sandwiches. Order just 1. Like, unless you're a bigger guy, obviously 2 sandwiches are fine. Like when I have Shaq eat, I'm telling him to get 2 sandwiches from Chick-fil-A if he has to eat out, or just get 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, put 2 chicken breasts on 1 sandwich, and then you're good to go. But at the end of the day, guys, it's about being mindful with all this stuff. Because, again, outside the demographic of a competitor in contest prep or a specific health situation where someone has to correct some kind of health dysfunction, it's okay to do this kind of stuff and eat out, eat on the go. You just have to develop that lifestyle to, when you're doing these things, that you're very mindful, and then it's almost like second nature for you to order things that way. And again, this is not saying you should never have a burger and a fry or never have pizza or something like that. But a majority of what you're ordering and eating, if you're eating out multiple times a week, should be the healthier options. And it will go a long way in your longevity, quality of life, health, obviously, and can keep you working towards the goal of this well-rounded life, right? Because that's all we all want. Because people are always asking me and my clients, like, how do you eat out, 3 times a week, and you don't gain weight, and you don't put on all this extra fat or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, because I've created a sustainable lifestyle to where I've never like went to extremes of underfeeding myself or overfeeding myself. I don't overly restrict everything that I'm doing. I created this balance, and I'm very mindful with the choices that I make with everything. And that makes a difference. Okay. And I'm trying to get clients to that point because that makes a difference in their quality of life, because it's ridiculous to be overly restricted 24/7, 365 days a year. It's like with the holidays, right? You're going to hear 100 different things of the way people's going to tell you to do. They're going to tell you to do all these crazy workouts prior to doing your Thanksgiving meal or your Christmas dinner or whatever to prepare for that meal. I'm not going to ever say that. I'm not saying those coaches are bad people or they're wrong saying that. I'm just saying that's not what I do, because to me, that's going to create this bad habit and mindset that in order for me to have a meal with my family and enjoy this time of the year or any special occasion, I got to do X amount in the gym and do X amount of work just to have that one meal. Now take a step back and think about that. Does that sound very rational or very logical in the sense of creating a sustainable, balanced life? I would argue no. So my perspective is from experience, stuff I've been through myself, because I've been this way in my own life and being overly restrictive. And I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of people doing it to themselves. And the people that come out ahead are the ones that truly develop this healthy lifestyle overall. And at the end of the day, they're just happy, right? Because they know they can go out and be away from home all day and still make good, healthy options and not fall off the wagon and lose all the results, which you're not going to do one day anyways, but that's besides the point. And I want everybody out there to be able to create this lifestyle for themselves for the quality of life. I'm at that point in my life. I was a competitor for 25 years. I did all the extremes. I, did what I needed to do to be competitive and get to the goals I wanted to achieve in that. That's okay. But I'm past that point in my life. But that lifestyle also led me to where I am now, and I'm able to live balanced. I'm not trying to put on a lot of muscle anymore. I'm not trying to be shredded all the time or anything like that. I'm just being healthy. I'm enjoying my life. I'm eating good quality foods 85, 90% of the time. And I go out with my friends and my family and enjoy meals out when I want to, and it's not hurting me whatsoever. So I hope this helps, guys, and just kind of giving some tips and hopefully get some thoughts in your head on what you should do, whether it's the holidays or just normal time in life to where things are hectic and you have to choose these convenience food. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be mindful in what you're doing. So again, guys, thanks for listening. As always, subscribe to our channel, give us a nice 5-star review. And, always appreciate the support and, humbled that you guys are listening to what I have to say and the support that you give. I really, really appreciate it, and always have and always will. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. If not, I will talk to you soon.